Good afternoon, traders. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Before I get started, as always, quick test of picture and sound. Could you guys do me a favor and give me a yes in the chat box that you can hear my voice and see the screen? That would be greatly appreciated. It's always great to see everybody again. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Fantastic. Great. Great. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started here in just a minute. As always, what I like to do before we kick things off is just cover a couple groundkeeping rules. First of all, we are recording this, so we'll send out a recording so you guys can watch it later. Second of all, if you have any questions and you need them answered, please type them in the chat box. I will do my best to get through them in a timely fashion. If I can't see them or if I don't get to them right away, it's because I'm busy presenting and my team can answer and they can help me along the way. And then I'll spend some time at
cybersecurity.
Oh,
It's kind of spooked industry and the
somebody please mute your mic, guys, on my team. Thank you.
guys who could then study it, help them patch their own
That's you,
vulnerabilities.
Jason.
But then
Jason, you got to quit unmuting your mic, mate. That's killing me here. All right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so ultimately, we'll give you guys a recording. We'll go over questions as we get through this and make sure you guys are in good hands. Who's joining us for the very first time? Can you guys just type a Y in the chat box that you're joining us for the first time and you're basically, this is, hey, Michael's new. Anybody else in here new or just kind of getting familiar with Tickblaze? Sandeep is new. Anybody joining us around the first time? Is coming around the block. Maybe you've never been in our webinars before. Maybe you're new to the Tickblaze platform. These types of things. That would be great to just kind of know who you are and where you're from. John, welcome. Debbie, welcome. Sandeep, Michael, great. Right. Everybody starts somewhere, guys. Everybody starts somewhere. So it's always good to see you guys joining the community and joining a part of what we're doing. Great. Now, this is the beginning of the auction profiling bootcamp series. And what does that even mean? Well, I'm putting together a multi-day bootcamp. And the reason I do these is because for years, traders have approached me to hire them to coach them one-on-one. As an experienced trader, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I don't have the privilege of helping as many people as I'd like to nowadays, obviously, and my time is quite expensive, right? In reality, just being fair with you. What I normally like to do in exchange is rather than charge, 15, 20, 25 grand for coaching sessions and not be able to help anybody, what I normally like to do is I like to do these boot camps, and they're very inexpensive. And what this allows me to do is it allows me to basically coach everybody at the same time and save everybody a bunch of money, right? I'm sure everybody can appreciate that. How many of you guys would rather pay a little bit and get the same coaching versus spending a lot and get the same coaching? You guys tell me if that makes sense, right? Type of yes if this makes sense. You'd rather pay a little bit to get the exact same amount of education and resources, right? Well, that's why we do this, right? We bring everybody together in an environment that we can basically keep the cost very low, and I can still deliver experience, and I can provide you with my knowledge. I can give you the strategies. I can share with you the resources that I would normally provide those where I'd be doing one-on-one coaching. And that way you get the best of both worlds. Okay. Now, this boot camp is strategically built around auction profiling. Now, what does auction profiling mean? Well, auction profiling is simply where we look at the concepts of volume profile, but also the concepts of market profile. They're very different. And the reason we bring them together is we've developed a product. And what it allows us to do is it allows us to bring together both volume and TPO analysis, also known as market profile. Now, this isn't some retail concept. This isn't some strategy that I developed. This isn't some strategy that anybody here developed. This is literally the same trading systems as the banks are using. Now, Sandeep, you keep saying you can't see my screen. Can anybody else see my screen? Because everybody else can see the screen here. Has everybody else got a good connection? If it's you, you're going to have to log back out and log back in. Can everybody see
Good.
my screen? Yeah. All right. Can somebody else man the chat box, please, and help me out here? Thank you. You got a whole team here. Okay, great. Perfect. So you guys can see my screen. Great. So yeah, if you can't see the screen, log out, log in, or my staff can answer your questions. That'd be great. Now, when I say the banks use this trading system, it literally is the banks. And how can I explain this? I'm going to share with you what that means, why they do it, what it even involves when I say the banks trade this system. We're going to talk about the setups, the signals, the entries, the exit, and really just dial in on performance because performance sells and performance is key, right? I really care about making sure that you don't go down the rabbit hole of just learning a bunch of baloney, right? What really matters to me is that you dial in the key aspects of the strategies that matter. If you're going to look at volume profile and market profile, so many people go down a rabbit hole of a bunch of bullshit. You don't need to go down that path, right? You don't need to spend days and weeks and months of your life going over stuff that A, doesn't make any money, and B, is completely a waste of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut through all the noise and I'm going to save you 10 years of learning and we're going to jam it into 2 days. And I'm going to give you literally everything that you could possibly want to learn or know about profiling and how it makes money. Give me a yes if that makes sense to me, to you guys. Yes? Any questions? I'll get to them at the end. Steven and all of you guys that are putting stuff in the chat box, please save them to the end, guys, so I can go over them and I can keep everybody on track. Okay, guys? Appreciate your patience. Yeah. Makes sense. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to cover a quick disclaimer, guys. Type a Y in the chat box that you've read, understood, you learn, and you accept the risks. I want to make sure that everybody here knows that I'm not here to guarantee you anything other than my time, knowledge, experience, and my software, right? Anything in between, you're going to place your own trades. You're responsible for your own profits. I can't guarantee the heavens, right? I wish I could, but it's legally not possible. Okay? That being said, we can all move forward. Thank you. So we're going to go through a couple things, okay? I'm going to explain why you should even trust this over everything else. Like there's a reason to this, right? Like this isn't some, oh, let's do a webinar and talk about trading and hopefully somebody buys the bullshit. No, that's not the way we do things, okay? There's reasons why this software strategy and concept matters. There's a lot of ways in which you can trade the market. Not all of them are created equal. It's very important that you know that, right? Don't go down the abyss of, all the indicators and the different charts and the different bar types if it's not really necessary. We're going to go through this and we're going to talk about why this could be a better way for you to trade. We're going to show you where the struggles are because a lot of people struggles reading auctions. A lot of times people think it's easy. It's not unless you learn it from somebody that makes it easy. Then we're going to go in and we're going to talk about the strategy frameworks because I've been doing auction trading for a long time and I've learned a few things that make a lot of money. And if you just learn these things, nothing else really matters when it comes to trading profiles. We're going to go over trade examples. And then after all of this, if you love it, you think, hey, wow, okay, I'm going to spend the next couple of days learning this stuff. This is really, really badass. Then you can come in and you can join me for a couple of days this week. I promise you it'll be something that you will never forget, right? These boot camps have changed lives. These boot camps help people make a lot of money. And I can cram it into a couple of days so that you guys learn all of my secrets in a very short period of time. Give me a why that makes sense and you guys are Johnny on it. We're ready to rock and roll. You guys good to go? All right, fantastic. Now, this is a strategy that, well, let's talk about profiles for a second. Market profile was created in the 80s. This isn't something that I just come up with, right? By the guy by the name of Steidelmeyer. If you've ever heard, he was a CBOT member, okay? And this way of trading, this type of trading was built by banks to move money. They needed a way to move the auction. They needed a way to identify value. They needed a way to identify where the market was cheap and expensive. Because if you may or may not know, trading is about buying things when they're cheap and selling things when they're expensive, okay? And what does that even mean? Well, it's no different than any other business. If you buy a house, you want to buy it low and you want to sell it high, right? When you get into the food business, you want to buy it low and you want to sell it high, right? Well, when it comes to trading, nobody knows how to freaking do that, right? Everybody puts on EMAs and this and that and divergence and order flow and this and that. It all works until it doesn't, or it all works if you know what you're doing, right? But the truth of the matter is, most people, if I sat you down and I put 100 people in a room and I said, show me where it's cheap and show me where it's expensive, nobody's going to give me the same answer, right? And so what happened in the 80s is these guys, they built, well, by the name of Peter built a method that identifies breaking down the market in increments of time and incrementing the time into a profile that allows us to look at splitting the auctions. You see, volume profile is very different than market profile. A lot of people confuse the two. They are not the same. Very similar. It's like having an apple and an orange. They're both fruit, but they're different, right? Volume profiles and market profiles are both a profile. They're both a part of the auction theory process, but one is reading participation. The other one is reading time and the active value in time. And so what's really unique is that you cannot use volume and split the auction. You can only use time and split the auction. And this is where we've developed a proprietary process for using time and volume to identify concepts of arbitrage and identify concepts of basically locating locations of value. And what's really unique is that when you trade this way, you can pretty much bank your butt on this that the banks are looking at the exact same thing. In fact, it was built for them. They use it to this day. Institutions, hedge funds, any guys that's managing big books of business, they're always looking at the auction because they have to identify value and they need to be able to see where big books of business can transact volume. And we're going to talk about this in this boot camp. Okay. Now, why is this even important? Well, if you're a big bank or if you're somebody that's moving weight around, okay, you need to rely on information that matters to you, right? You're not going to be looking at a 1 minute chart or a 2 tick range bar or a Renko to make any meaningful decisions in the market. And so what they do is that they can't all just do business at the same time. They can't all just go in and actually start trading and using EMAs and these. They need a way to identify locations in the market to be buying and selling and use that as an environment of how to trade and why. But if we sum this all up, this is what really matters. Okay. They use market profile to locate when, why, and where. This is super important. Let me just go back to this. Market profile is designed to locate when to trade, why to trade, and where to trade. And then volume profile is then used, okay, to execute in the market profile. This is the untold story of the market. This is what a lot of people don't realize is that time leads volume. A lot of people think volume leads time. No, it's the other way around. And so what's really important is that I'm going to show you the untold story that most people don't even know. They don't even know this is what's really going on or why it's like this or how it's like this because A, nobody's taught them this, and B, nobody's got the right tools to even do the job. You can't just do this on TradingView or other platforms or just anything out there because you want to do this. Certain software has to be built to be able to identify ways to be able to calculate the market profile and the volume profile and to be able to use them together in unison to locate the arbitrage and to split the auctions. And we're going to show you this today, and we're going to show you why. Okay. Now, when I look at breaking down trading this way and talking about this, I really go back to why would it even matter that we spend time learning this stuff, right? Like if trading was so easy, let's just go do this and that, right? Well, I'm a stats major. Many of you guys may not know this, but when I graduated years ago back in school, I graduated with a stats background. And what's unique about trading is that I've always tried to apply a mathematical approach to trading in all of the strategies and all of the ways in which I've traded or all of the systems that we've noticed in the industry. This is the only trading system that really has a strong foundation of mathematics in that it uses statistical deviations to locate the concepts of cheap versus expensive. Now, nobody in their right mind is going to look at the market like this. Like, that's not how the market works. But if you just stay with me for a second, and if I'm going to show you how we're going to take this information, which is very valid, by the way. Like, let's say current price is trading here. You say, well, how the hell can current price be trading? You know, you can't. But let me explain something. If price were to go this way, and then this way, and then this way, and then this way, think of it like a rubber band. What happens if I pull the rubber band? Like, let's say this was me over here, and I'm pulling the rubber band, okay? And I'm pulling from over here, and there's this other guy over here, right? And he's pulling the rubber band. What's going to happen if the rubber band just keeps pulling, 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 pulling? Two things are going to happen. What do you think is going to happen? Two things can happen. Anybody? Well, what's going to happen is it's either one guy's going to give up and it's going to let go and it's going to snap back and it's going to basically go this way, or it's going to come back and go this way. Or what's going to happen is the band's going to break and one guy's going to fall straight on his ass, and then all of a sudden the market changes. Well, this is what's happening in the auction. Most people don't realize it. Price is elastic, and the band will eventually snap. And we're going to see this on examples. I'm going to show you some examples so you can understand what's happening. But if we look at it on a price chart and we snap it the other way around, right, you can see how this plays a factor. And price goes up and price goes down and price trades sideways. Price goes up and down. Oh, boom, 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 boom. Guess what? This guy's pulling the band. And then all of a sudden, wham, it slams back in. Then this guy up here is pulling the band, and wham, it slams back in. You're going to have reversions to the mean, which is all based on mathematics. Most people don't understand this. And then what happens when the band breaks? Well, the market goes up here and then trades in a new area. And then they just do it all over again. And we're going to talk about this today, and we're going to see why this plays a factor in trading. Because when you look at the market like this, and you start seeing that you've got charts that are just going like this, and then all of a sudden, boom, or charts that go like this, and then boom, right? Guess what's happening? The band is getting snapped back up and down like this, and then all of a sudden the band starts pulling, 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 and then the band snaps. And then the market comes down here, and then the band just trades down here. And this is how the market works. The market will come like here, it'll trade with imbalance, and then it'll go up here, and then it'll trade with imbalance, and then it'll come down here, trade with imbalance, and then it'll swing down here, trade with imbalance, and the band will snap, and then it'll trade with imbalance. You got to understand, this is the flow of statistics. Most people don't understand that the market moves in this tandem. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use a tool called the profile pack that's going to look at volume, which measures liquidity, and then time, which measures time. We're going to look at the profile that looks at different time price opportunities in the market. Now, let me kind of bring this full circle, okay? To somebody in here that's been trading 10 years, or to somebody that's been trading 10 days, you're still going to probably having your brain going, wow, like this is really complicated, or I don't understand it, or maybe I'm just going to stick to what I'm doing, or all the case of the yeah, buts or the what ifs. I'm here to share with you that if you're going to drive a car and you don't know what's under the hood, you're never going to trust it. I like to spend a few minutes explaining the foundation to things so that when I go in and actually show you the way in which you trade it, you actually are like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Or, oh, that doesn't seem that complicated. But if I just rush into the trade and then you have all these questions, you're not going to understand how we're doing, right? So let's talk about this for a second. This is where it all folds. This is literally the life of everything. This is the most important slide you could ever learn in auction theory. This applies to both time and volume. I want you to write this down. Who's got a pen? Type a yes. You got a pen, you got a paper, and you guys are engaged right now. This is important. Okay, everybody here with me? I'm going to teach you 10 years of trading in 5 minutes or less. And I promise you, this is the only thing you need to worry about when it comes to trading volume profile or when it comes to trading market profile. They're both the same with this regard. There's 3 types of patterns, okay? So you're going to write this down. You can draw it, you can take a screenshot, you can follow along, whatever you need to do. But just remember this. When you're a trader, what is your job? Okay? And I'm serious. Answer me this. When you're a trader, what is your job? Buy low. Okay? Sandeep's got one of the concepts. And then what? Sell high. Okay, great. He just nailed it. We're going to give Sandeep a round of applause. Buy low, sell high. Okay, he nailed it. That's great. So what we're going to do is say, so how do we do this? Well, whenever you have an auction, okay, you don't need to see the bars to do this. You don't need to see candles to understand this. Right now, when you have a B-shape auction, okay, that means price traded down and then it did this. Okay. What this means is price traded down in a trend and then came down here and did this. Okay. When you have a D-shape auction, all this means is that price stayed within its normal range, came up, came down, came up, came down, came up, came down, came up, came down. All it means is it stayed within a certain range. A P-shape option just means an uptrend, okay, to oscillation. So when we look at patterns, what's really important is that if I'm in a B-shape auction, you'll see here that there's this little value area low, value area high. And you'll see here there's like these 2 lines, right? You can see them here and you can see them here, okay? When you're in a B-shape auction, this is expensive and this is cheap. The market comes down, push, 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 comes down to an oscillating range, boom, 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 boom. If I identify a B shape, I always sell at the top of this auction, and then I take profits down here at the bottom of this auction. If I'm in a D-shaped pattern like this, okay, I will always buy at the bottom and I always sell at the top. And I'm in a P-shape auction. I'm in an uptrend, okay, price comes up, boom, 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 boom. I always buy at the bottom, cheap, and I sell when it's expensive. The number one thing you're going to learn with auction trading is auctions are designed to always tell you where the market is cheap and where the market is expensive. You never have to guess. You don't have to worry about an indicator or an EMA or a tool or an oscillator. The auction's job, or this type of software, is designed to save you a world of hurt. It's designed to say, hey, listen here, guys. I'm going to show you where to buy. I'm going to show you where to sell, and I'm going to explain why. How many of you guys think that that's a powerful thing to know? If every single day, it doesn't matter if you're trading on Renko charts or if you're trading on range bars or time bars or whatever other strategy you're using, if you apply the auction to your chart, you can then assess value. You know always where the banks are going to view the market as cheap or expensive. The banks don't want the market to trend. Let me explain something to you guys, okay? I'm going to explain this in layman's terms, okay? Super, super important. Little secret, fun fact, okay? When the banks or when the market, okay, does this, nobody likes this. You want to know why? Because the market is trying to figure things out. In a trending market, nobody knows what's going on. So let me explain this. This is why the markets are normally trending 30% of the time. 70% of the time, the markets are in some form of consolidation, some form of oscillation, whether that's tight ranges, whether that's large ranges, whether that's big oscillating swings. Every time you see consolidation on some time frame, what that's doing is it's building an auction. Whether you're on a 5-minute chart, a 15-minute chart, a 4-hour time frame, some time frame is going to be moving from a trending state to a choppy state. We call it choppy, but what the market's saying is balance. The market is saying we're in a range. Guess what the banks want? The banks want the range. You want to know why? Because when the market does this, what that's doing is we're saying that's a leg and a B-shaped distribution. And I can say that's expensive. When the banks move away from trending to staying in one spot, Guess what that does? It gives the banks the opportunity to now start exchanging business. They can sell up here and they can buy down here, and they can do it multiple times. So they can actually stay within a range and they can feed transactions with large books of business. They can't do that when the market's trending. They need the opposing side to be exchanging. And so, what we're going to do as day traders and as professional prop traders is we're going to teach you, I'm going to teach you how to use this type of information to know when to trade the trend, when to trade the range, and how. That way, you're never caught off guard. You're never caught off guard as to how to do this. Now, here's a great example, right? You can see here that this is a tool that we've built, okay, to be able to identify what the banks are doing. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply it on the chart and we're going to identify auctions. We're going to identify how to use it, how to trade it, what we're going to do. And we're going to go in here, we're going to locate trades. Okay, so let me explain this. Take a look at this for a second. So look at this profile here. Now, what you're seeing here, you're seeing two profiles. You'll see there's a histogram and you see there's a line here. You notice this? There's a line. Okay. And then you can see here there's volumes, right? You can see the volume profile. Well, I just have it set to a certain setting where I can see the market profile as a line chart, and then I can see the volume profile as volume candles. But what I'm really more interested in is this right here. If you notice, I have a black and I have a blue. Well, what you may not know is that is gold right there. What does that even mean? Well, that's the value areas between time and volume. Sometimes the market will be in balance where you'll have the value areas completely lined up. And sometimes you'll have the market where you'll have value areas like this, where volume will be here and time will be here. And what we're trying to identify is arbitrage in the value area. When you have a zone of volume and time that are not completely identical, there's an arbitrage opportunity that normally is only privy to very, very high net worth traders that have these types of resources. And what we've built is a tool that tells you the discrepancy between volume and time. And you'll see we plot a little zone on the chart. You see this little zone here? What that's telling us is we have an auction, okay? And up here, you can see that that's the high. And down here, you can see that that's the low. And what we're noticing, let me ask you a question. If I've got an auction down here, okay, like this, if I can see that this auction right here, is this higher or lower than the prior auction? Is the second profile above or below the prior auction? It's higher. So what does that mean? That means the balance area has shifted from here to here. Well, guess what this means? When the balance goes up, whenever the value areas shift up, we know that buyers are in control of the market. So if buyers are in control of the market, we always buy the low end of the profile. Plain and simple. There's no question about it. I buy low, I sell high. And then we can ultimately stack on other concepts like low volume nodes, low time nodes, all this other stuff that the retail people start talking about. What most of the people don't realize is that all that stuff comes after. Looking at the nodes, looking at volume, looking at all that's after. What we first need to understand is bias. And when you understand the bias is not dictated by EMAs or by other stuff that frankly nobody knows you have on the chart. Do you think a bank knows that you have an EMA on your chart? Do you think the institutions know that you're trading with an RSI? No. But what they do know is the auction. It's their job to know the auction. Institutions require institutional traders to understand auction theory because the job of an institution is to be able to buy books of business at prices that are low and sell prices that are high. That's their career. They're paid a $500,000 starting salary to know where to do that. And I have built a tool that will tell you where to do that. You can see here, this is a perfect example of the auction is up. So they're going to buy the value. They're going to buy the value. And that's the goal of a retail trader, is to be trading in the same locations as them. How many of you guys would always like to know that, where the banks are trading? Like, this isn't some tool that I'm just making up. This is what they're doing. Tell me if you guys would like to always know at any given time, regardless of what time frame you're trading on or what tools you're using, if you could just have the tool tell you where the banks are buying, wouldn't that be important? Or where the banks are selling? Yes or no? I would think so. I mean, it's our job to know this. It's critical that we know this. Here's a great example of what we've done, though. And this, I'm going to be teaching this inside of the boot camp. There's just too much for me to share in one webinar. But let me explain something. We've built a proprietary tool that allows us to take multimodal auctions. What is a multimodal auction? A multimodal auction means when we have the entire state of multiple nodes. Do you notice how we've got like 4 or 3 different bellies? When you look at an auction, you have like a belly, peaks and bellies. We call these valleys and peaks, valleys and peaks. We've built a tool that allows us to split the auction. And why would we want to split the auction? So that every time as the market's trending, as the market's moving down, as the market's moving up, we always know where it's cheap or expensive. When you go to like standard platforms like TradingView or NinjaTrader or all these other tools out there, they're great trading platforms. I'm not saying that they're not. But what I'm saying is that when you look at the profiling tool sets that are built initially, they're built like this. They're built like this. And the problem with this is that it doesn't give you the information we need to do what? What's important? I need to know what's expensive and what's cheap. And if I don't know what's expensive or cheap, why should I be trading? If I don't know where to buy low and sell high, well, I'm completely blind. As a trader, I'm blind, right? Whether you're on a 1 minute chart or a 30-minute chart or a Renko chart, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you can identify cheap versus expensive. And if you look over here, we can't. Over here, I absolutely can. As the market trended lower, I can see right here that I should be selling this area, this area, this area, this area, this area, this area. We stayed inside. You'll see these auctions stayed here, consolidated. As soon as the auction shifted here, from here to here, I know I should be buying low. 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 As soon as it shifts down, I should be selling high. I should be. This is how you trade professional locations. Like this is how you start trading where the banks are trading properly. Now you might say, well, that's just a big EMA and that's a pullback on a high, whatever you want to call it. What the banks are doing is they're trading the auction. And we're going to show you how to do this down to the tick using Renko bars, time base. It don't matter, but the auction is going to show you exactly what to do. Now, what's really cool about this is that I can do this on monthly profiles. I can do this on weekly profiles, and I can do this on daily profiles. Do you want to know why this is so amazing? I can be a day trader down here. I can be a swing trader here, and I can be an investor here. I can basically, with one tool, I can solve the problem for every single trader in the world. The number one reason traders struggle in any category, whether they're a day trader, a swing trader, or an investor, is they don't know where to buy or they don't know where to sell properly. This software provides you the evidence so that you always know where to be buying and selling properly. I'd like to think it's probably one of the most important things you could ever use as a trader. Now, let me explain a few things, okay? This is super important. Tell me the types of strategies you guys use. Okay, just start naming them. Like realistic, I'm asking you guys to do this for me. Like just start naming the strategies you guys are trading. I'm going to do them one at a time. Orb strategies, okay? Give me other ones, guys. Order flow, okay? Give me another one, guys. Keep going. It's important. Supply and demand, okay? Keep them coming. Supply and demand. SMC, okay? Sweeps. Okay. Great. We're all coming down here. Like, okay, smash and grab scalping. Okay. Divergence. Okay. Okay. I think we're good here. Okay. VWAP. Okay, let's do VWAP. Okay. VWAP. Don't forget Mr. VWAP traders out there. Yeah. Levels. Okay. Sharpshooter's got the levels. Okay. Let's do this. Levels. So let me explain something to you guys. Do you know that it doesn't matter what strategy you're trading? If you apply these on your charts and just still do what you're doing, I can change the way you're making money drastically. Meaning, if you're an orb trader, I can help you increase how to trade the orbs so that if you're at the right location of the auction, the orb's going to make you a lot more money. If you're an order flow trader, I'll know where to be a buyer of the order flow versus where to be a seller of the order flow. If you're at the low ends or the high ends, will dictate where to trade the order flow properly. If you're a supplier demand trader, if you're buying demand at the lower end of the auction, or if you're selling it at the high end of the auction, I can help you make more money with a supply. If you're trading SMC, if you use the auction, I can show you how to anchor your VWAPs and your breaks in better locations. If you're trading liquidity sweeps, I can show you where to trade sweeps on the low end at the low end of the auction versus the high end of the auction, right? If you're trading divergence, I can show you how to trade divergence reversals at the value area lows or at the value area highs. You guys get the point? Every single trading system should be traded within the context of the auction, meaning it doesn't matter what you're trading. You should apply the auction on top of it so that it increases the efficiency of how you make your money. That is the most sound trading solution that I could provide for you as a coach. I'm telling you that there is nothing else in the industry that is designed to do this. Nothing. Which is why I've spent years mastering this type of strategies, because personally, it's what made me the trader I am today. It's the only thing that helps me understand where I'm buying and selling correctly. In fact, it's the only thing I've learned in 15 years of trade. Actually, that's not true. I've traded 11 years. In 11 years of trading, where I always know I'm on the right side of the market when I look at the auction. Isn't that crazy? Now, here's a great example. Here's a great example. You see this? Now, what's really cool is that I can take the auction and I can manipulate the colors and I can change all the settings and I can do all that cool stuff, which I'll show you how to do. But all that matters, you understand that this tool is called the Profile Pack. Okay, the Profile Pack is a tool that I've developed that allows me to look at volume and time. We're going to explain the differences in the boot camp. We're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff. But what matters most is when I should be buying or selling. Okay, so here's a great example. Right here, the auction is here, and then the auction is here. What does that mean? Tell me what that means, traders. You tell me. The auction went up or down? Up. So when the auction's going up, what does that tell me? Buyers are in control, right? Well, when buyers are in control, I want to be buying cheap and I want to be selling expensive. So there was the trade. There was the trade. There was the trade. All three times it hit the value area low in an uptrending auction. Guess what it did? Gave me profits. I went to the value high. I sell it. Came back down. Boom. Came back up. Sell it. There's the trades. This is how you buy low, sell high. And then what ends up happening is eventually the auction changes. It shifts from down here, from up here. The auction shifts lower. Guess what? I sell high, buy low. That's it. Expensive, cheap. And this is all you need to learn how to do. I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, here's what you could do. You could put on your order flow down here, buy your order flow. Maybe there's divergence on a smaller time frame. You want to use that. Sure. All of the other strategies that you're using, fine. But if you apply it in the context of where you're trading, the banks are looking at this on 30-minute timeframes. Now, there's a reason we use 30-minute timeframes. Yes, you can look at a 5-minute, a 15-minute, doesn't matter. But if you don't know this, I'm going to teach you this in the boot camp. 30 minutes goes into the market an equal ratio of time. There's a certain amount of 30-minute fractals that allow us to go from A to Z in the alphabet. And when they built the market profile, this really sexy, colorful tool here, there's so many letters in the alphabet. And then when you apply it 30-minute fractals, it allows us to calculate the market profiles properly. Mathematically, this was built by Steidelmeier in the 80s, like I'm saying. And the whole point is that it all fits into the 30-minute profile. So everybody in the world that is using profiles uses it on a 30-minute chart first. Could you apply it on other time frames? Absolutely. But just know this, that the auctions are going to be split based on 30-minute profile time frame rotations. Okay. And so we'll look at it other time frames. We'll look at other aspects. Okay. So here's a great example. I just want to show you how this works. Okay. You get an auction, it shifts. Okay. So let's start here. You can see here that the auction shifted from here to here, then down to here, and then here. Okay. In a situation like this, as the market breaks down from here to here, we already know the market's going lower. But what our job is to do is, how do we buy? How do we sell? Well, we sell when things are expensive. We buy when things are cheap, right? Then it drops down here. We sell when things are expensive. We buy when things are cheap. So right here, this was where the expensive trade was. This is where the expensive trade was. Do you guys understand this? So as the market is going lower, we want to be selling and then we want to be buying lower. So interesting. Look at impulse leg, pullback, impulse leg, pullback. But what you're not realizing is the tops of the pullbacks are stopping where? Where are the tops of the pullbacks stopping? I don't see any EMAs on my chart, and I don't see any RSIs or CCIs on my chart. They're stopping at the tops of the auction. That's exactly what it's designed to do. In down moving auctions, you sell the value area highs. In uptrending auctions, you buy the value area lows. It's that simple. Here's a great example. Uptrending auction, right? Auction went from here to here. Market's moving up. You buy the low when it's cheap and you sell when it's expensive. Buy the low and sell when it's expensive. It's that simple. Nothing needs to be done. Now, if you want to go in here and you want to use some other tools like divergence or order flow or, whatever you guys do, by all means, but just don't lose sight of where we're at in the auction, because that's the foundation. That's the holy grail, if you want to call it whatever you say, because what it's doing is it's telling you where the banks are able to do business and what they're going to be doing. Most people don't know what they're going to be doing. They just think, oh, the market's moving on fundamentals, or, oh, the market's moving because of news. Sure. But 9 times out of 10, let's say they get a candle and it's over here, right? And all of a sudden news comes out, boom, they drive it down. But guess what? That's the whole point. We want the market to move to where we need it to be, right? This is really the only tool that, if I were to say, it's the number one tool that every single trader should have. If they're not trading with this, then I wouldn't even entertain opening your charts. Yeah. If you were to ask me, like if I was to sit down with my wife or a family member that's never traded in their entire lives, this would be the first thing that I ever make sure they've mastered. Why? Because once they understand this, indicators, all that extra stuff doesn't really matter. It could be added later, Donna. Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah. But the truth is that if you don't understand this, then you don't understand what the market's going to be doing from a institutional perspective. Yeah. And it's their environment, right? So here's a great example. Okay. So here's a perfect example of just how the market moves. Okay. So here's a great example. Okay. So the auction is here. Okay. Look at this. The market is here. Like the auction was here. So the auction moved up. What would they do? They stop it here. They drive it all the way up. Auction moves here. Okay. Come in here, but that's the close. So we don't trade the close. Another profile comes in. Look what happens. There's the low, cheap and expensive. Perfect. Market moves up. Here it is. Cheap and cheap. Market closes, but it went all the way up and it went all the way up. Then what ends up happening? Market shifts down. Auction goes lower. What do? We sell the highs. Could you go counter trend? Sure. Could you buy this? Yes, you could. It's counter trend, right? This is with trend. This is counter trend. But this is the concept. You can discuss if you want to trade counter trend or if you want to trade with trend. Always start with the market so you understand how to assess it. And then if you want to take additional risk after, you can always do this. Now, I want to talk a little bit about VWAP for a second, because VWAP trading is, well, VWAP is VWAP. One of the biggest problems I see is that everybody just wants to trade VWAP because it's a static indicator. Well, I'm here to share with you that VWAP is a dynamic concept. And when the market moves, volume weighted average price also moves. So instead of the day being static and the whole profile staying the same, what we've done with our software is we've identified the best way to anchor VWAPs. A lot of people always anchor VWAPs just from random spaces, or they don't really know where to place the VWAP. When you let the auction center itself or let the profile change, our tool will anchor the auction VWAP based off the new auction split, which will be a much more accurate place of where VWAP should be. Because if all you're doing is looking at VWAP on your charts and you're not actually moving in relationship to the dynamic auctions that are splitting, then you're really just trading VWAP on a static form, and it's very dangerous. You'll get stopped out a lot of times. Now, one thing that we're going to discuss when it comes to market profile is static prints. Static prints are basically low time nodes. A lot of people learn low volume nodes because a lot of people think that when volume is low, the market rejects it, and they're absolutely true. But a lot of people don't know what low time nodes are. And low time nodes are when we see the market giving us options to trade rejection points in the prints. And we're going to talk about what this means and how this works in the discussion, right? And we're going to look at different aspects of how to take trades and where to take those trades. A couple things I want to share with you is that the goal of the boot camp is not to just show you software. Like, my job as an instructor is to truly teach you how to be a better trader. And the only way to teach you how to be a better trader is to give you the actual strategies and then ultimately give you the actual location as to where you want to be trading those strategies. The reason is that you might already have a good trading setup, or maybe you already have a couple tools you're used to using. Sure, I'm not asking for you to change that. What I'm asking you to do is to put your willingness hat on and say, wow, if I could learn how to be a way more profitable trader, I should take the opportunity to do that. If I had the opportunity to work with an experienced instructor who's willing to take time out of their day to teach them all of the secrets that they know about these concepts, I could save you years of your learning curve, and I can shorten it down into literally 1 or 2 days. That's magic. To me, that's everything. Now, what I want to do is I want to share with you the right locations that we're going to be trading. I'm going to teach you where to trade. I'm going to teach you how to place the trades, how to place the entries, how to place the stops and the targets. What I'm also going to do is teach you how to split the auctions so that you understand dynamic auctions. If all you're doing is relying on profiles the same way everybody else looks at profiles, you're going to have a hard time trading. It's not really going to make a lot of money. If you split the auctions and you understand what we're doing, you're going to be in an environment that 99% of traders don't even know exists. And what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you the simplest way to trade this stuff. Like, a lot of people are going to teach you a lot of information, and a lot of it's not going to be valuable. I'm going to dial it into only the most important parts. Why? Because I'm a big believer of fast tracking your success to things that matter, right? Why take weeks when it only needs to be done in a couple of days, right? And that's the key. Is I want to get to making money. I don't like spinning my tires and wasting time. Now, one thing I want to talk a little bit about is extra strategies. There's a few things that I'm going to be teaching you over the next couple of days. Is we're going to talk about nodes. Nodes are very important because nodes are the difference between high volume and low volume. Then we're going to take a look at nodes based on time, which is low time and high time. Nobody talks about these. I don't see anybody on YouTube talking about market profile nodes. And there's a reason for it. It's just most retail traders don't even know this stuff exists. If I could teach it to you and you could leverage it, I promise you, you're going to just be blown away. And I'm going to show you why. Like, I'm going to show you why in just a second. I'm going to go on my chart. We're going to do a few demos, and then we're going to get into the details of the bootcamp. Okay. And the goal here is that basically by the end of this, you have a framework that is literally going to be applied to everything you do. Like, I don't care what strategy, what time frame, what bar type you trade on. I'm going to put an auction on your chart, and every single day you're going to know exactly to the location where the banks are selling and buying and why. And you're never going to be trading against them ever. You will always, always, always be trading with them. That's the key. Now, you don't need a lot of things for this, okay? What you need Okay, a couple things. For those of you that are here joining us, you need the Tickblaze platform. Why? Because our software is built for the Tickblaze platform. It's not built for other platforms. It's built for Tickblaze. Okay. Now, this version of software is available on NinjaTrader as well. We have a version for Tickblaze and we have a version for NinjaTrader. So if you are a NinjaTrader user and you do want to use this tool or you do want to be a participating in this, you can use NinjaTrader as well. We have a version of the software built on NinjaTrader. Then you need to determine, are you going to trade for a prop firm or are you going to trade your own money? I don't really care what you're doing. All I care is that you make a lot of it. All I care is that you make a shitload of money. You're happy with what you're doing and you learn the strategies. You can pick prop firm accounts from any of the ones we work with. We support a lot of different prop firms, and any Rhythmic supported prop firm as well inside of Tickblaze is supported. I've got a couple here that we work with that are using Tickblaze, but if you're using a Rhythmic supported, if you're using a Rhythmic supported prop firm as well, we can support all Rhythmic prop firms. So it doesn't matter what you're using, we can support that. And then you need me. I'm going to give you 2 days of my time. Normally, I charge anywhere from 15 to 20 grand for 6 sessions. I'm going to cram it all into a couple days, and I'm going to make it pennies on the dollar so that you can literally have everything you could possibly need. Now, like I said, this is a lot of money normally. Like if you're going to pay me to coach you, I can't do it one-on-one. I don't have enough time, and I don't have enough availability. Like it'd be impossible for me to do that across everybody here. And frankly, not everybody wants to drop 15 bands on a coach today. And you probably didn't wake up saying, "Oh, honey, I'm going to spend $15,000 today hiring a trading coach," and you get what I'm going. So what I like to do is I like to put it into a boot camp environment so I can help hundreds of traders simultaneously. Okay. And so what I want to do is I want to go into the charts. We're not going to get into pricing just yet. I want to go into the charts for a second. I want to show you a few things. Okay. So a couple things I want to do. So this is something that we're going to be looking at. Okay. And give me 1 second here. I'm going to install the update because they gave me an update. So bear with me. Does everybody here? What's your guys' opinion so far? You guys enjoying the presentation? You guys learning something? Give me a yes that you guys are with me. You guys are getting a lot out of this so far? Yes? You guys enjoying it? Okay, I'm going to install the new profile pack. Great. So bear with me, guys. I'm just going to launch this up. A second here. Bear with me here. Perfect. Just want to load the new version because they gave me a new build here this morning for this. I'm going to launch it. Okay. Now, why am I doing this? Well, because I want to show you a few things. Okay. I want to show you a few things that I think is super critical. Okay. And a couple things that we're going to be doing here is, well, first of all, this is looking at the S&P. I don't care which market you give me. You guys tell me which market. I've got the S&P, I got the NASDAQ, the Russell, the YM, crude, gold, the euro. Yeah. Steve wants to look at the NQ. Dan wants to look at the Everybody wants to get married to the NQ. Everybody and their dog wants the NQ. I don't know what it is about the NQ, but something's happening with the NQ. Okay. So here is the NQ. Okay. Now, what most people don't realize here is that if you can see this, if you notice, like we've got a bunch of different modes here. Like, look at this. Boom, boom. You got belly, 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 P-shaped distribution, right? What's really important here is that if you look down here, this is all what we call multimodal infrastructure, meaning, let me just grab here to 1 month of data. I'm going to load a month of data here. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Now, what's really, really important to understand here is that we cannot trade the auction in this state. This is what everybody else is looking at. This is what everybody's looking at. If I come in here and I turn market profile on, I can show you what we're going to do here. Let's grab this and blocks and letters right here. Right here, and we could put the Z order right there. There we go. So you can see we've got the auction. Let me grab it here. Placement, display, blocks and letters. Letters, you can see letters, blocks, etc. Now, so you can see here I've got letters and blocks inside of the profile. But what's the problem of this, and the problem of the way that this looks like this, is we have to split the auctions. Like in order for us to trade this strategy, we have to split the auctions. And what I like to do is I don't like to look at the profiles at all, to be truly honest with you. Unless I'm looking at nodes, I want to know where to buy and where to sell. And so what I do is I come into the profile and I actually turn off the auctions. I only look at where the market is supposed to tell me I'm supposed to be trading. Like as a trader, I can merge the profiles. Okay. I can merge them like this and you can see this. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll just share with you a couple things. I'm going to turn this off for a second. I'm going to remove sessions for a second so you can see it. Okay. So look at this. Okay. So if I'm looking at an auction like this, I can split the auction. And what it's done is it allows me to look at just the arbitrage of the auction here to the auction here. And it's interesting in the overnight session, as the market traded, okay, where did they buy the auction? Like where did the banks in the Globex session, where did they buy it? You can see this is the volume and this is time. So here is the arbitrage between volume and time. This is your buy zone. You see this? This is cheap. And this is expensive. And then guess what happened? They stripped the band. Okay. They switched the band right here. Look at this is where they were stretching the band, stretching the band, stretching the band, snap. The band snapped. And guess what? New auction. Wow. Imagine that. And guess what? You can see that the market is in perfect balance right now. Literally, the market is in perfect balance. And what you're noticing here is that this is cheap and this is expensive. So the institutions are not going to be trading in here. They're going to be trading here and here. This is the critical aspects because they're not going to do business where they're not supposed to. Now, if you take a look, when I split the auctions, look at the day a couple days ago here. When the auction doesn't split, like look at this, I merged them back. Pay attention to this day right here. When the auction doesn't split, I come here and I go to auto split and nothing happens. Guess what? They just buy when it's cheap and sell when it's expensive. That's it. Buyers, buyers, sellers, sellers. In an auction where it's D-shaped, they just stay inside the auction. Right now we're in a trending environment, right? And what you do in trending environments is you trade the auction split. If the market's trending, you have no way to use normal auctions, right? If I want to come in here and I want to put profiles on volume and put the columns, right? Like this is a volume profile. But I can't trade the whole volume profile on a day that's moving. It's very difficult to do that. One thing I also want to point out, okay? One thing I also want to point out is that we also have the luxury by using this to leverage multiple time frames. So what the hell does that even mean? Well, we have compositions daily and weekly. Okay. I can also do monthly if I add a lot more times here. Like let's go 3 months back. Okay, this is really exciting. I'm going to share with you this. Okay. Let's move it all back. Okay. So here's 3 months, okay, of data. And what I'll do is I'm just going to change the sessions so you don't see them. Let's do this so you can see it, okay? So now I've got 3 months of data. Well, what I like to do is I like to put the session dividers on. I'll show you here for a second. Like this is the separators. And I'm going to put it to monthly or weekly, okay? Now I'm looking at a weekly composite, okay? What's really powerful about weekly composites and these types of aspects is when we start looking at node analysis. Node analysis is where the end of a week happens. And if, let's say, this week happened here, okay, and this entire week changed. If I split the auction, okay, I split the week. It's going to take a second for it to split like this. You're going to see the weekly split, which is very powerful. The weekly split is where you're going to see very, very, very unique locations to do business. And when you split the weekly auction, you're going to see very, very unique things happen. You're going to see a lot more accuracy. Like when these auctions split like this, you'll see big trades. Like when it splits like this, look, they dropped it here, they came up here, they dropped it. Then it shifts here. Look what they do. This is the low that led to the big move. There's no other provider in the industry that has built software that allows us to use multi-time frame splitting. And what's really cool about multi-time frame splitting is that I'm not just interested in the day trades. I'm interested in the big bangers. And on top of that, when I merge them together, okay, I have the opportunity, if I come in here to the profiles, I can actually, let me just go here to volume profile, and I can't remember where the setting is. Bear with me here. Take a look here, 10. Okay, give me 1 second here. General. Minimum split depth, that's it. Okay, perfect. So what I'm able to do now is I could literally come in here and I can see, okay, if I go from last week and I'm like this, okay, I can look at last week's auction and I can see key areas like these low volume pockets like this. You see these low volume pockets? I have the ability to look at those as key areas of business so that if I'm going to trade those areas, those are massive inflection points for me to do business in. Like I can buy them, I could sell them. I'm going to teach you how to do this. It's interesting. They're going to bring it right to the point of control right here. So if you look at this right up here, this is the point of control that they just brought it to. They of last week's auction or 2 weeks ago. So there's a reason why they're bringing it from the low all the way to the high. But what's really good is when we could go in and take it one level further and bring it to the monthly auction. And then what we do is we can look at the biggest areas of the splits. And this is stuff I'm going to teach inside of the boot camp. It's not something that's going to be done in one day, but let me just split the auctions for the month for a second. Just takes a second. And we're going to give it a chance to split. Has anybody ever seen something like this done before? No? Exactly. So here's the monthly splits. The monthly splits are like literally the most powerful splits because what it allows us to do is it allows us to look at the auction a little bit more time. It allows us to go in granularly and actually look at the data in a little bit better way. So we can split monthly, weekly, and daily auctions in a more granular way. It really just depends on what you want to choose. Like we can go daily, we can go weekly, we can go monthly, and you can literally like I'll give you an example. Like I can see that I have the auction here in this day. If I go in here and I try to split the auction, okay, I can go into these levels on a smaller time frame. I can go down to a 5 minute chart. I literally can go to a 5 minute chart and I can still split the auction the same way as if it was a 30 minute chart. And I can still now go in here and I can split the auction by a more granular look. And personally, I like to do this. I like to use the 5 minute chart and split the auctions. And Jeff, are you here? I just want to make sure if Jeff is here. He's my guy. I want to ask him if he's here. Let me see. Grab him 1 second here. You're here. Do you know where I can change the width of the software? I just want to grab you for a second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to bring it here. I want to show everybody a little bit of what I like to do, and I like to just kind of make it a little bit easier to see. 1 second here. I'm going to promote you to a panelist position. There should be a setting here. I just don't want to go fishing for it because I don't know exactly where it is. But what I personally like to do, and this is just me, I think Jeff's here now. Yeah.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, do you know exactly where I can make this a little bit easier to see, like a little bit more granular inside the settings? I haven't used the visual setting in a while, but maybe you can just take a look and just tell me while I'm doing this.
Yeah,
So
in the very first section,
yeah,
there's a row size,
right here, row size. Okay,
and then make it from auto to manual.
perfect.
Yeah.
There we go. So ticks per hit, so more. Let's just do more. Let's do 50. That'd be better.
Try a few different settings.
Yeah, that'll be better. Let's take a split. Auto split. Yeah, there it is. And okay, perfect. So let's just talk about this for a second, okay? So And you can change the settings, guys. You can go ticks per histo. This is ticks per, let's do 60. Let's just see here. Yeah, I like to go more granular, ticks per like 100. I want it to be a little bit more granular on the volume. I'm not sure if that's working the same way. Ticks per row. Should it be less? 10. Maybe I'm going backwards. Yeah, that's what I was looking. I was going the other way. My mistake, guys. So I'm going the wrong way. So there we go. 25. That's exactly what you do, sharpshooter. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to split this down. I'm going to more granular. So take a look at this. I like to see the volume in a little bit more granular way. Now, what I like to do is I like to use the power of the 30-minute auction up here, but on a 5-minute chart. And why? Because I'm still splitting based off of the auctions, but I have the ability to actually see things cleaner. Like look at today, okay? I just want you to see this for a second. Look at today. Today in the overnight session, this was the overnight right here, okay? This was the market open right here, okay? And what ended up happening is they split the auction. They shifted it here. As soon as the auction split, okay, you can see right here, look at how clean the trades were. Look at this today. This is when the trend is up. I can trade the auction on a 5-minute chart. I can buy here. I can literally come in here. I can grab my risk and reward tool and I can buy the auction. I can basically have my target set here, where I can set my first target to the opposing side of the auction. A lot of people are like, where do I place my targets? Not at fictitious locations. We buy things cheap and we sell things expensive. Today was a perfect example of this. And take a look at what just happened. It just happened again several times. The auction split. Okay, the auction split right here. And guess what we did? We can buy cheap, buy cheap, buy cheap, buy cheap, buy cheap. The auction is still here. Look at, we can sell expensive, sell expensive, sell expensive. That's what they're doing. This is not by accident. The business is telling us this is the auction. This is where they're going to do business until it's not. And this is the most accurate way in which you can trade ever. Like ever, ever, ever. Why? Because the auction's the auction. Like, let's just go to the day before. Okay. The day before was here. Okay. So what we look for, okay, is in an auction where the profile doesn't split. How do we know it's going to split? We come up here, you go to profile, click on split. If it can't split, we know that this is what we call a D-shaped distribution. So in D-shaped distributions, we have the arbitrage here, we have the arbitrage here. This is expensive and this is cheap. So anytime the market gets below here, we know this is where the big institutions are going to start buying the market. Anything up here, this is where the market's going to be expensive. Clear as day. There's no guessing. There's no, oh my God, what are they going to do today? Clean as day. So what we do is every time the market gets down here, okay, below this level, we can then look for opportunity to start buying the market. Could that be a trend change? Sure. Could it be a order flow or a divergence? Sure. Anything you want to do, we can add on here. If you want to add an RSI, etc., it doesn't matter. All that matters is you understand what we're doing. Why? Because that's what the banks are telling us to do. Same thing over here. If we go over here to the day, okay, throughout this entire time here, you can see that they were telling us to buy, buy, buy. Why? Cheap, expensive. Then, wham, market gave us a new profile. Guess what we do? As soon as the new profile shifted, guess what we do? We come down here, we buy, and we sell. And then it shifted again. We buy. Up here, we don't trade really, really tight auctions like that. There's no profit potential, right? And so this is my job. My job is to teach you how to be a very profitable trader, okay, by using auction theory in the right context, okay? And sometimes what'll happen in a situation like this, like look at this. This is where they really will manipulate. Like this is where you can actually start to see the manipulation of the market. Here's a great example. The auction is here and the auction is here, okay? We know that this is expensive, okay? But this is also expensive. And for whatever reason, if they decide to drive it up, but the auction doesn't move, that's when they're coming up here to grab it at the other expensive. But that doesn't happen very often. Very rarely will the auction be lower and will they take it to the other auction high. And in these situations, this is where they're basically grabbing liquidity and they drive the market back down. And it doesn't matter. Like, I'll teach you how to read that and what to do in those situations. But, you can, if you wanted to really dial this in, you could go to a 1 minute chart or a 2 minute chart, right? And then you could look for timing. You can look for timing. We can split the auction. Okay. And you can see, like, you can literally see, like, wait for the EMAs to cross. As soon as the EMAs cross, you can enter those trades. And you can see, like, once those EMAs cross, you have the opportunity to drive that trend down, knowing that we want to be shorting those auctions, right? And that's the key, is that when we're in a downtrend, we know we want to be shorting. When we're in an uptrend, we know we want to be buying. And that's the power of this. And you don't need to do this on a time chart. Like, let me give you an example, right? Let's go to like 10 days. Okay. Now let me show you an example. Okay. I'm going to put this on a range bar. I'm going to grab here. We're going to go to range bars for a second. Let's do, I don't know. Let's just do 50 tick range bars for a second. Okay. Let's grab that. Let's grab the NASDAQ. We're going to give it a second to load. Okay. Now I'm going to really grab some secret sauce here. And I'm going to share with you where this really starts getting sexy. Okay. Now we're going to do this in a bootcamp environment, so I can promise you you're going to. So watch this, okay? Now, if I come here and I auto split the profiles, okay? Now I can really, really dial this in, okay? So if I'm in an auto split environment and I come up over here, okay, today, okay, I can come in here and I can trade the auction down here as it came down into the lower ends. I can trade as they split. You can grab the reversals. You can come in here when it comes into the lows, when it split this morning, you can really grab the opportunities as it's happening. Like, on a range chart, you can wait for them to come in off the lows and then get in on the beginning of those turns. And so, like, you don't need to use time charts. You can use Renko. Here's a great example of coming in, and as soon as the market came down, you can literally wait for a bar to flip, tight stop, and ride it all the way to the top. The bar can flip, tight stop, ride it up. Bar can flip, tight stop, ride it up. You can use Renko charts. You can use time charts. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we apply it on the right software with the auction. Same thing over here. Like, in this environment, look at this. This is a split auction. So when they split the auction, okay, like this, and the auction goes from here to here, like this to here, that tells us that buyers are in control. So whenever they are down here, we can look to buy the market and trade the market up, and we can use the right time frames. I like to use Renko or range bars. If you're not able to read time charts, I will show you how to be trading the low end or the high end of the auctions. It's super, super easy to do. In an environment like this, take a look. So in this environment here, you can see the auction was here. Okay. Everything down here is cheap, and everything up here is expensive. Auction here, this is cheap and this is expensive. So we buy things down here. We buy things down here. Does everybody understand that? Super easy. It's literally that simple. And what's really unique about this is that every day is different, but what's not different is the auction. So you could have tight trending days, large trending days, tight choppy days, etc. But the auction will tell you what to do in every environment. That's the best part about it, is that it doesn't matter if you prefer to look at this using a Renko chart, right? And like, I'll give you an example. Like, this is a great example of you Renko traders up here. Okay, and I'm a Renko trader too, so I'll show you. Right? Let's just grab this 75, and we'll do 100 tick. 150, and we'll do 60. I'll show you where I'm going with this, okay? And why this is so important, because it doesn't matter what you're looking at. What matters is how you trade it. So let's do this, okay? Let's go in and let's split the auction, okay? There it is. So if I know that I'm going to be trading a Renko chart or a range chart, doesn't matter. Every time I get down here, inside of the arbitrage low, like the arbitrage low is here, volume and time. This tells me where I want to be trading and why. I want to be trading down here cheap. Okay, So every time I get down here and I get a reversal, I trade the reversal long. Every time I get a reversal, I trade the reversal long. Okay. That is my job. I buy the market low. And you can use larger bricks if you have a hard time seeing the trades. I will show you how to do this. This is the point of the bootcamp, 150 and 300. So you can see slightly larger, easier to read charts. Let's do this. Let's do 150 times 0.8. And I will do this. 150 times 0.8, 120. I promise you, you will never, ever look at the market ever again once I'm done with you in 2 days. It'll be the easiest transition you ever make to understanding when to be a buyer and when to be a seller, okay? So here's a great example of the auto split. We split the auction. Now, every single time, okay, I get to the lows, right, of the auction, I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. This is critical, right? So and you might find that it's too big, right? So depending on, like, you see how the auctions are splitting? This is too big of a bar. You can't use the size of a bar on the auction. It's too big. So what we need to do is we need to go down and we drop it, right? So we do, like, let's say 100 brick, right? And we do a 200 tick reversal and we do an 80 tick offset, right? Watch this. So what's really nice is I'm going to teach you how to really dial in the right size bars so that you can trade the value area lows, and it's clean. It's super clean. Like, take a look at this. So I can see that when the auction shifts, you can literally see exactly where to take the trades. And that's what I love about using custom bars on the profile pack. Nobody ever teaches this except for me, the architect who built the systems. So what you do is you get an auction. It shifts from here to here. That tells me I want to be a buyer. My job is to only buy the low. That's my job. There's my entry. When the auction shifts higher, right, my job is to buy low, sell high. There's my trade. Literally, there's my trade to the tick. There's my targets. There's my targets. You can see we're in such a tight consolidation right now, but it's really clear what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to put pending limit orders down here. Why? Because the profile tells us this is what's cheap. I buy low and I can put a target up here and I can sell high. There's my trading plan. There's no question about it. Right now, that is what I should be doing. Why? Because the auction tells me the story every single time. Same thing here. As of yesterday, every single time when we're down here below, I can buy the reversals on the lows. I can sell the reversals on the highs. In a trending market, look here. I got an auction here, and then it shifts here. What do we do here? We buy the lows down here. So if you're wondering how to trade that, okay, the market comes in here. Every time the market gets below the auction low, I know this is cheap and I know this is expensive. Guess how the market responds? I buy the reversal, I sell the target. 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 Why? Because the auction tells me that's how price is supposed to move. And that's a very, very profitable way of trading. Like, because you're not guessing. You're not, oh my God, look at the EMA, look at the RSI, look at this, look at that. No, you're looking at, I'm supposed to buy low, sell high. That's my job as a trader. And this is what I'm telling you, is that most people don't do this because they don't even know it's possible. I'm here to tell you that this is exactly how you should be trading, because it will give you an idea of what the market's likely to do. Does this make sense? Give me a yes if this is starting to click with you guys. Now, we're going to take this to an entirely deeper level, but I can promise you, you do this on any market, right? You do this on any market, and it's going to change the way you look at the market. Yeah, it's very cool. Give me a yes if this makes sense. Yes? Makes sense, you guys? Like, I'll give you an example. If I was in this day and I was looking at it from here, okay? So I know that my time to trade the market, okay? I know that if market opens at 6:30 right here, okay? So there's the market open, okay? I can tell you right now that as long as the auction is shifting lower, okay, like this, the only two places I will take a trade on this auction is here and here. I will take a trade here, and I will take a trade here. So what that tells me is every single time the market gets up here, I will sell this. If I am trading up here, if I'm trading below it, I will sell this. Okay. If the market goes higher, I will sell this down. And if the market drops down, I will buy the low. That's just the way it is. And you don't need to sell and buy every single one of these. What you can do is you can trade the trend line break, you can trade the reversal lower, we can look at different ways to time the entry. Just know what you're supposed to be doing and why. That's the key. Like it's not about the exact how. We'll look at the how, we'll explain the how. The key here is understanding that if the auction is shifted lower, you should be selling and understanding how to sell. Okay. If the auction is shifted higher, you should be buying and understanding how to buy. That is important. Okay. And we'll look at how to do this. Like, look at this big trending day when we had the huge sell off. Interesting enough, when you look at this and you look at the picture of that day, I remember trading this day. We did very well on the order flow class. The auction shifted lower. Okay. Here is the value area high. Here's the value area high. Okay. So as the market shifted lower here, okay, and then as soon as the market shifted higher, we should be buying it. And this is important, right? When the market tells you what to do, you can easily do it. It's hard to know what to do sometimes when the traders don't know what to do. And what's really, really good about this software is it teaches you when to be buying and selling and where to be buying and selling and how. Okay. So what we'll be focusing on in the bootcamp is the execution strategy, right? What we'll be doing is when I get to the locations, how to time the entries, the best way to enter the trades and why. So when we go in the bootcamp, my job, it will be like this. I'll give you an example. Like if I'm going to be trading this day and I know that this is a buyer's auction and this is a buyer's auction, I want to be spending time on like, okay, if I know I'm going to be buying cheap and I know I'm going to be buying cheap, I want to teach you how to time the entries, the best way to time these entries. And that's what I'm going to be doing on the first 2 days of the auction is I'm going to be teaching you volume profile and market profile entry patterns so that we can teach you how to trade the auction like a professional trader. That's going to be my goal, okay, over the 2-day bootcamp, okay? And it's a great example of just how today would have been is like we had lots of opportunity today to trade this auction. And if you were trading it like this, you would have made a lot of money today. Absolutely made a lot of money, right? If you look at the Russell, okay, if you look at the Russell today, if you go down here, today was a bearish day in the Russell. The market sold off, okay? And if I go here and I just look at the data series today for the Russell, I'll show you this. Let me take it like 20 tick and then 40 tick and then 16 tick brick. I'll show you today. This is the Renko charts on the Russell. And then if we apply it to the actual profile charts, how do you know buyer auction or seller's auction? Oh, great question, Jim. It's really easy. It's the value area. It's the value area. So what we do, first thing we do is we can't trade an auction like this. So I'll give you an example. First thing we do is we start the chart like this. Step number 1, okay? Step number 2 is I go up here to the profile pack and I hit auto split. Boom. That's exactly how we do it. So I know in an auction like this, like let's say today we were like this, okay? At the open, when the market profiles like this, you can do both. You can buy the auction low and you can sell the auction high because the auction hadn't split yet. So when the market opened, okay, they drove it up here on the open. Here was the trade for the short, and then here was another trade, and then here was another trade here. So you could have had 3 attempts at this trade, at this opportunity. And there's 3 ways you could have shorted the highs here. You could have basically shorted it just on first touch. You could have waited for them to break the body. You could have entered on a trend line break. I mean, there's so many different ways we can teach how to enter these trades. But what's critical is that when they broke the auction low like this, like remember, see here, they shifted, they broke down. Okay. In a situation like this, you see how they shifted the auction lower? What I mean by the auction is I mean the value area shifted from here to here. Okay. As soon as that happens, I know that I should be a short seller because the auction is finding value down lower, which means this is no longer expensive and cheap. this is expensive and cheap, and you get to move with the market. And that's the cool part about trading auction theory, is that doing it on a custom bar, take a look. You can see that this is exactly how they trade it. And you don't even need to leave the profiles on. Like sometimes what I'll do is I'll come into the volume profile, I'll just turn it off. I just want to see cheap and expensive. That's the key. And what you can do is you can literally trade a trend line break right out of the value array highs. You can do this. As soon as the trend line breaks, you can enter the trade short, or if you want to take a reversal on the bar, whatever we teach you. Like I'm going to teach you the best ways to do this on the boot camp. We're going to talk about entry patterns, but this is exactly where we should have been shorting the Russell, and this has been your first target. You see this? And the reason we should be shorting it is the auction shifted lower. Same thing down here. Look, the market came up. The auction shifted here. The auction shifted lower. So there's your short right there. And you can see here they had a short and they came in here for another target. And like that's the key, is like you can use the distance. A lot of people ask me when I'm coaching them one-on-one is like, how do I know how big of a stop loss to hit? Well, it has to do with the size of your profile, because that's your profit target. So normally what you'll do if you're coming in like this, okay, normally what we'll do is if I'm taking a first touch entry, okay, I will always put my my target as a 1-to-1 to the opposing side. So that'll, like, if I'm going to enter a trade, I want my first target to be at the opposing side. Why? Because that's my profit objective. I know that that's where buyers are going to step into the market. And you'll see here that would have been a 2-to-1 trade based off of that auction trade. Same thing down here. Like if I know that if I got an auction like this and I can see that that's the size of my auction, I'm going to short this here, okay? And I'm going to use the opposing side of the profile to tell me where my trade plan should be. It's not a guessing game. I know exactly every single time I see the profile where my target needs to be. That's what I love about this, is there's no ambiguity. There's no subjectivity whatsoever. It's 100% mechanical. And so for me, I'm not a big believer of like all the fancy entry patterns. I like to get in with a limit order. I like to sell it. And I like to literally just place a limit, and I put my first target at the opposing auction. And then if it gives me 2-to-1, like this would have given me a 2-to-1 trade here. Both of these would have given me 2-to-1 today on the right side of the auction. Does that make sense, traders? And you could have traded both. Like realistically, you could have traded this long here and it still would have given you a target, or you could have traded this and traded both sides of this trade up here would have made you money. And this would have made you the short here as well. And so I'll teach you this on the bootcamp, so you know exactly how to place your entries and how to trade. My goal for the bootcamp is execution, not just what we're doing. I want to teach you where to trade it, how to trade it, and exactly how to place your entries. Does this make sense? Give me a yes if that makes sense to you guys. I promise you, when you leave here, you're going to have a tool that is going to make you a lot of money. And the reason it's going to make you a lot of money is we're going to do it on custom bars, and we're going to use it, and we're going to keep it super clean and super easy to read. I'm not a big believer of time charts. I don't like time charts. I've never really been a big factor of them. I think that there's a cleaner view of the market, but if you understand the auction, then that's all that matters. Type a yes if this makes sense to you and everybody understands this. Lots to cover, but I can promise you, you're gonna see the magic unfold. Great. Okay, so I'm running a 2-day boot camp. No secrets here. I've been talking about it for hours now. It's not expensive. It's 1/10 of the cost, right? And for a very low fee, you can spend 2 days with me. It will be jam-packed. We will be going over all of the strategies. I will be going over the trading systems on how to execute the trades. I'm going to give you the exact plan. I'm going to teach you on how to use the tool sets. I'm going to teach you. And then if you choose to trade this way, you can buy the indicator, right? Like there's no forced plan, right? Like you don't have to buy the tools if you don't want to. My big believer is teach you the strategies, show you where the money is, explain why you'd want to trade this way. And then only then would you ever want to use the tool. I'm not a big fan of just here, buy this, and I don't give you any context. Does this make sense? And so all of this normally, if you're going to spend money, if you're going to be coaching with me, it's expensive, but I will do it for a very, very reduced fee if we have a lot of traders coming together. So for a very small fee, you can come in and basically come in and actually trade with us. Send an email in, Jess. You can work with Jason on that. Jason can meet with you and discuss that. If you already own the software and if you're looking to come in on this, I'll get you to meet with Jason on our sales team and you guys can discuss that. Okay. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to just show you what we're going to be doing. This is everything that we're going to be covering in 2 days. Like literally, it's a lot. And this is a master's degree in auction profiling. Like I'm going to teach it to you straight. I'm going to give you the clear plan. There's no subjectivity. I promise you're going to leave here, with so much more than you've ever come with. And I promise you that by the end of this, you'll be a master at what we're doing and you'll be able to trade this like a professional trader. You'll also be able to make a lot of money doing it because you'll know exactly what to do and what not to do. Okay. Now, I'm going to run a poll here, guys, because in order for us to help you, I need to know where you guys are. And so there's going to be 2 questions. Are you buying? Yes or no? And if you would like to speak to our sales department, please put your phone number in here. If you're going to spend the days with me, I need to know. So please put a yes or a no in the poll. I need to know, and I need to know. It's important that you put a yes or a no, guys, because this will dictate how we structure the boot camp and how we do this. If you are planning on trading with me live, I will be trading and we will be placing trades. We will be doing things together. If you already own the software and you would like to speak with our team, we might be able to toss a slight discount in there for you if you want to book a meeting with our sales team. Just get in touch with Jason, fill your name and your email in the number 2 slot here, and we can get in touch with you guys, okay? Now, in order for me to do this boot camp, you guys got to let me know if it's a yes or no, because I need to curate this to how many people are going to be there. It's going to be a private VIP group. It's going to be a small knit group of traders that are very serious. And I'm going to be spending those moments with you, teaching you everything we're going to be doing. I'm going to give you my desktops. You don't have to build anything. It's literally just come, show up. I will give you everything you need start to finish, and you guys can then understand how to do this. Does this make sense? So please fill out the poll, guys. The poll is there for me to help you. The poll is there for me to understand so we can send you the right everything after the event. And that way I can send you everything you guys need to do, right? Without you answering the poll, I can't help you. And we're going to leave it open for questions now while you guys are answering the poll, please. I'm excited. I'm excited to trade with you guys. This is going to be awesome because I've been doing this for 12 years, guys. Nobody's ever taught me this stuff. I had to do it on my own. And I've mastered it. As an architect of the software, building the software, I know exactly how to make it work and how to make a lot of money with it. I don't care which market you throw at me. I'm going to be able to crush it. Yes, and you can trade it for prop firms. Yes, you can trade this for prop firms. We'll dial it in on the micros for you as well. Jason, can you introduce yourself as head of sales? Everybody here that's putting your phone number in here is going to want to talk to you. So maybe you can just say a few words and just address the audience. I think he's here.
Hey, Sean, can you hear me?
Sure can, sir. Yep.
Hey, appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Jason Stamore. I am working with Tickblaze. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm also grateful to be able to help anybody answer any and all questions and provide additional information. So please go ahead and let us know by filling out the form, yes or no, and please go ahead and put your number in there if you'd like to speak with me. And I'm eager to learn more about you and your journey and see how we can kind of help you out here, move to the next level. Thank you, Sean.
Yep. Jason's a killer, guys. He is a non-stop animal. He is one of the best of the best. He's going to be helping you guys get squared away. The indicator is a different indicator product. So Sanjeev, great question. So normally we don't want to force anybody to buy things unless they're really excited to use the tool. So we're going to be using this tool. So let me share with you the product. I'm going to be going over it here. Give me a second, guys. So if you go to the Tickblaze website, okay, and you go to the marketplace, okay, and you type in here, you go profiles. Look at that, profile. Just go to the profile pack. This is the software that I'm talking about. This is what we use, okay? So if you're interested in using it and you want to get access to this and follow along, you can. You do not have to buy it. It is not mandatory. You might come to the boot camp and learn a whole lot of stuff and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy it. Or you might come and say, yeah, I don't want to do that. Thanks, but I learned a lot. Whatever it is you want, we don't like to force things down your throat, right? We understand that trading is an investment. You need to invest in the tools you do and the way you trade. But here's the reality. If you're going to do what I'm doing and you want to use the software, this is the tool we're trading with, right? So feel free to let Jason know if you want access to this in advance. He can cut you a discount and give you a deal or whatnot. You know, I'm going on the mic here to say, hey, we're here to help you guys out, and we want to make sure we can give you some savings where possible, right? So if you're interested in following along and joining me for the boot camp, you can do that, or you can wait till the end of it. And yeah, I mean, it's your choice.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
Just want to jump in. There's a 50% coupon code on the website after you purchase. So if you purchase the auction profile bootcamp in that page, once you purchase, there will be a coupon code available for you for 50% off the volume profile pack.
You see that, guys? My team is Johnny on it. I had no idea that was in place. So what that means is if you buy the boot camp, you get this at 50% off. See? End of story. That's a better win. Good. That's better. Thank you for clarifying that, guys. I wasn't sure that promotion was running, but clearly you guys have got things cooking over there for all of our traders. So that's fantastic. Great. Fantastic. Okay. Well, listen, guys, I always enjoy spending all of my days with traders, but if I don't go to get an MRI on my knee, I won't get it all fixed. I have to go in and get another MRI for my knee because I had surgery. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to step away and make sure I take care of business. But you guys are in good hands with my staff and my team, and they're here to help you. We're going to be covering a lot. We're going to send out the details. The boot camp is running at these times. So it's Wednesday and Thursday from 2 to 3:30 each time. It'll be in the afternoons. We'll begin covering everything. And my team is going to be following up with you after the event, guys. Now, remember, Tickblaze is free. All you need is a data feed or a prop account from one of our prop firm providers. But yeah, you guys are in good hands. You don't have to worry. We'll take care of it. Yeah. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate you. Yeah. It's been great to be here. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And we will see you Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, we got lots of trading to do. So be prepared. This is going to be an amazing opportunity, guys. Take care, and we'll see you guys in the boot camp. Bye for now.